EPTS. Question 1. What is the primary focus of comparative literature? A. Analyzing individual literary works. B. Comparing different literary traditions and cultures. C. Studying the history of a specific literary genre. D. Exploring the biography of authors. Answer. B. Comparing different literary traditions and cultures. 2. Theories. Question 2. Which translation theory emphasizes the importance of preserving the cultural and social context of the source text? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Functional equivalence. D. Literal translation. Answer. B. Foreignization. 3. Texts. Question 3. In the context of translation studies, what does the term source text refer to? A. The original text to be translated. B. The translated text. C. The target language. D. The cultural background of the translator. Answer. A. The original text to be translated. 4. Concepts. Question 4. What is intertextuality in comparative literature? A. The study of a single literary work in isolation. B. The influence of one text on another. C. Examining the life of an author. D. A method of literary analysis based on linguistic features. Answer. B. The influence of one text on another. 5. Theories. Question 5. Which translation theory emphasizes the need for a translation to sound natural in the target language, even if it means deviating from the literal meaning of the source text? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Adaptation. D. Literal translation. Answer. A. Domestication. Concepts. Question 6. What does polyglottism refer to in the context of comparative literature? A. The study of multiple linguistic structures. B. The ability to speak multiple languages fluently. C. The analysis of a single literary work from different perspectives. D. The examination of a specific literary genre. Answer. B. The ability to speak multiple languages fluently. 7. Theories. Question 7. Which translation theory emphasizes the importance of conveying the function or purpose of the source text rather than its literal content? A. Functional equivalence. B. Literal translation. C. Domestication. D. Foreignization. Answer. A. Functional equivalence. 8. Texts. Question 8. In comparative literature, what is a world literature approach? A. Focusing exclusively on literature from one country. B. Examining the interconnectedness of literary works across different cultures. C. Analyzing the biographies of authors. D. Studying a specific literary period in isolation. Answer. B. Examining the interconnectedness of literary works across different cultures. 9. Concepts. Question 9. What is the purpose of adaptation in translation studies? A. Preserving the literal meaning of the source text. B. Conveying the cultural context of the source text in the target language. C. Rewriting the source text in a completely different style. D. Analyzing the linguistic features of a text. Answer. C. Rewriting the source text in a completely different style. 10. Theories. Question 10. Which translation theory emphasizes maintaining a balance between preserving the source text and making it culturally relevant to the target audience? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Adaptation. D. Dynamic equivalence. Answer. D. Dynamic equivalence. Concepts. Question 11. What does transcreation involve in translation studies? A. Literal translation of a text. B. Creatively adapting a text for a different cultural context. C. Analyzing the linguistic features of a literary work. D. Studying the historical background of an author. Answer. B. Creatively adapting a text for a different cultural context. 12. Theories. Question 12. According to postcolonial theory in comparative literature, what does the term hybridity signify? A. The blending of different cultural elements. B. Strict adherence to cultural purity. C. The dominance of one culture over another. D. The isolation of literary traditions. Answer. A. The blending of different cultural elements. 13. Texts. Question 13. In comparative literature, what is the significance of a canon? A list of accepted and influential literary works. B. A specific type of literary genre. C. The linguistic structure of a text. D. The author's intent behind writing a work. Answer. A list of accepted and influential literary works. 14. Concepts. Question 14. What does the term, reception studies, focus on in comparative literature? A. Analyzing the structure of literary works. B. Examining the audience's response to a text. C. The translation process. D. Studying the historical context of a literary work. Answer. B. Examining the audience's response to a text. 15. Theories. Question 15. Which translation theory emphasizes reproducing the stylistic features of the source text in the target language? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Stylistic equivalence. D. Literal translation. Answer. C. Stylistic equivalence. 16. Concepts. Question 16. What is estrangement in the context of comparative literature? A. The emotional distance between characters in a novel. B. A technique used to make familiar things appear strange or unfamiliar. C. The isolation of a literary work from its cultural context. D. The process of adapting a text for a different audience. Answer. B. A technique used to make familiar things appear strange or unfamiliar. 17. Theories. Question 17. According to the descriptive translation studies approach, what is the main focus of translation analysis? A. Evaluating the literary merit of the source text. B. Describing and understanding the translation process and its outcomes. C. Emphasizing the translator's creativity over fidelity. D. Promoting foreignization in translation. Answer. B. Describing and understanding the translation process and its outcomes. 18. Texts. Question 18. In comparative literature, what does the term intercultural communication refer to? A. Communication within a single culture. B. Communication between different cultures. C. Communication between an author and the audience. D. Communication through non-literary mediums. Answer. B. Communication between different cultures. 19. Concepts. Question 19. What is the primary goal of world literature in comparative literature? A. To isolate and analyze individual literary works. B. To emphasize the superiority of a specific literary tradition. C. To explore the interconnectedness of literary works across cultures. D. To promote linguistic purity in literature. Answer. C. To explore the interconnectedness of literary works across cultures. 20. Theories. Question 20. Which translation theory focuses on the equivalence between the effect of the source text and the translated text on the audience? A. Functional equivalence. B. Dynamic equivalence. C. Adaptation theory. D. Literal translation. Answer. B. Dynamic equivalence. 21. English literature. Question 21. Who is the author of the play, Romeo and Juliet? A. William Wordsworth. B. William Shakespeare. C. Jane Austen. D. Charles Dickens. Answer. B. William Shakespeare. 22. Comparative literature. Question 22. In comparative literature, what does the term intertextuality imply? A. The study of a single literary work in isolation. B. The influence of one text on another. C. Analyzing the biographies of authors. D. Examining the historical context of a literary period. Answer. B. The influence of one text on another. 23. Translation studies. Question 23. Which translation theory advocates for a balance between preserving the form and content of the source text and making it intelligible to the target audience? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Functional equivalence. D. Dynamic equivalence. Answer. D. Dynamic equivalence. 24. English literature. Question 24. Who wrote the novel, Pride and Prejudice? A. Charlotte Brontë. B. Jane Austen. C. Emily Brontë. D. Charles Dickens. Answer. B. Jane Austen. 25. Concepts. Question 25. What does the term, stream of consciousness, refer to in the context of literary style? A. A narrative technique that presents the thoughts and feelings of a character as they occur. B. A type of poetic meter. C. The intentional use of ambiguous language in literature. D. A form of literature that emphasizes external actions. Answer. A narrative technique that presents the thoughts and feelings of a character as they occur. English literature. Question 26. Who is the author of the poem, The Waste Land? A. W. B. Yeats. B. T. S. Eliot. C. John Keats. D. Percy Bysshe Shelley. Answer: B. T. S. Eliot. 27. Comparative literature. Question 27. What does the term, magical realism, signify in literature? A. A genre that combines fantasy elements with realistic settings. B. A style of writing that relies heavily on logic and reason. C. A movement that rejects traditional storytelling. D. A form of satire in literature. Answer: A. A genre that combines fantasy elements with realistic settings. 28. Translation studies. Question 28. Which translation theory emphasizes maintaining the cultural nuances of the source text even if it leads to unfamiliarity in the target language? A. Domestication. B. Foreignization. C. Literal translation. D. Adaptation. Answer: B. Foreignization. 29. English literature. Question 29. Who wrote the play, Macbeth? A. Christopher Marlowe. B. William Shakespeare. C. Oscar Wilde. D. George Bernard Shaw. Answer: B. William Shakespeare. 30. Concepts. Question 30. What is the term for a figure of speech in which contradictory terms are combined for emphasis? A. Simile. B. Oxymoron. C. Metaphor. D. Hyperbole. Answer: B. Oxymoron. Comparative literature analysis. Question 31. In the context of comparative literature, explain how the concept of double consciousness is explored in W.E.B. Du Bois' work, and provide an example of its representation in a literary text. Answer: Double consciousness, as explored by Du Bois, refers to the sense of having two distinct identities, particularly in the case of African Americans who must navigate their identity within both their own community and the broader society. An example of this is evident in Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, where the protagonist grapples with the expectations and perceptions imposed on him by both the white and African American communities. 32. Postcolonial comparative literature. Question 32. Discuss the role of postcolonial literature in challenging and redefining cultural identities. Provide examples from different postcolonial texts to support your argument. Answer: Postcolonial literature serves as a powerful tool for challenging colonial narratives and redefining cultural identities. For instance, Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children challenges the historical narratives imposed by colonial powers, while Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart offers a counter-narrative to colonial depictions of African societies, showcasing the complexity and richness of indigenous cultures. 33. Intertextuality in comparative literature. Question 33. Analyze how intertextuality is utilized in the works of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, particularly in 100 Years of Solitude, and discuss the impact of intertextual references on the narrative. Answer: Marquez employs intertextuality by weaving elements of Latin American history, folklore, and literary traditions into his narrative. For example, the use of magical realism is intertextually connected to Latin American oral storytelling traditions, creating a multi-layered narrative that engages with both historical and fictional elements. 34. Globalization and literature. Question 34. Explore the ways in which globalization is reflected in contemporary literature. Provide examples of texts that address global themes and the interconnectedness of cultures. Answer: Contemporary literature often grapples with globalization by exploring themes of cultural hybridity and interconnectedness. Zadie Smith's White Teeth exemplifies this as it delves into the lives of characters from diverse cultural backgrounds in a globalized London, highlighting the complex interactions and influences shaping their identities. 35. Translation challenges in comparative literature. Question 35. Discuss the challenges and opportunities that translators face when working on texts with intricate cultural nuances. Provide examples from translated works that successfully navigate these challenges. Answer: Translators encounter challenges in conveying cultural nuances, and successful examples include Gregory Ribas's translation of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude. Ribasa preserved the richness of Colombian cultural elements while ensuring accessibility to a global audience, showcasing the delicate balance translators must achieve. Postcolonial literature. Question 36. In postcolonial literature, what is the significance of the term hybridity? A. The preservation of traditional cultural practices. B. The blending of different cultural elements, identities, and languages. C. The rejection of Western literary forms. D. The exclusive focus on indigenous narratives. Answer: B. The blending of different cultural elements, identities, and languages. 37. Literary theory and gender. Question 37. Which feminist literary theory concept emphasizes the examination of the ways in which women are portrayed in literature and challenges traditional gender roles? A. Queer theory. B. Ecofeminism. C. Gender criticism. D. Postcolonial feminism. Answer: C. Gender criticism. 38. Modernist literature. Question 38. What is a key characteristic of modernist literature? A. Strict adherence to traditional forms. B. Linear and straightforward narrative structures. C. Emphasis on subjective experiences and stream of consciousness. D. Optimistic and utopian themes. Answer: C. Emphasis on subjective experiences and stream of consciousness. 39. Literary adaptations. Question 39. In the context of literary adaptations, what is the term for the creative reinterpretation of a classic text in a contemporary setting? A. Parody. B. Pastiche. C. Revision. D. Homage. Answer: C. Revision. 40. Reception studies. Question 40. What does reception studies in comparative literature focus on? A. The analysis of textual structures. B. The audience's response to literary works. C. Linguistic features of translated texts. D. The historical context of literary periods. Answer: B. The audience's response to literary works. Literary movements. Question 41. Which literary movement sought to challenge the rationalism of the Enlightenment, emphasizing emotion, intuition, and the sublime? A. Romanticism. B. Realism. C. Naturalism. D. Symbolism. Answer: A. Romanticism. 42. Literary theory. Question 42. According to the death of the author theory, who or what is considered the primary source of meaning in a literary work? A. The author's biography. B. The reader's interpretation. C. The cultural context. D. The literary canon. Answer: B. The reader's interpretation. 43. Cultural studies. Question 43. In cultural studies, what does the term hegemony refer to? A. Cultural diversity. B. The dominance of one social group over others. C. Globalization of literature. D. Linguistic hybridity. Answer: B. The dominance of one social group over others. 44. Literary criticism. Question 44. Which form of literary criticism focuses on examining how power dynamics and societal structures are reflected in literature? A. Psychoanalytic criticism. B. Marxist criticism. C. New criticism. D. Structuralism. Answer: B. Marxist criticism. 45. Comparative literature methodology. Question 45. What is distant reading as a methodology in comparative literature? A. A detailed analysis of a single text. B. Examining texts from a broad perspective, often using computational tools. C. Close examination of linguistic features. D. Focusing solely on texts within the same literary tradition. Answer: B. Examining texts from a broad perspective, often using computational tools. Global literature. Question 46. What distinguishes world literature from national literature in the context of global literature studies? A. Focus on literature written in English. B. Emphasis on works that have achieved international recognition. C. Exploration of literary traditions beyond national boundaries. D. Analysis of literature exclusively from Western cultures. Answer: C. Exploration of literary traditions beyond national boundaries. 47. Literary adaptations. Question 47. In the context of literary adaptations, what is transmedia storytelling? A. Adapting a novel into a film. B. Extending a narrative across multiple media platforms. C. Creating a faithful reproduction of the original text. D. Adapting a literary work for a specific cultural context. Answer: B. Extending a narrative across multiple media platforms. 48. Postmodern literature. Question 48. Which aspect characterizes postmodern literature's approach to narrative structure? A. Linear and traditional narrative structures. B. Clear distinction between reality and fiction. C. Metafictional elements and fragmented narratives. D. Strict adherence to genre conventions. Answer: C. Metafictional elements and fragmented narratives. 49. Literary translation challenges. Question 49. What role does the concept of untranslatability play in literary translation, and how do translators navigate this challenge? A. The inherent impossibility of translating certain cultural nuances. B. The refusal of authors to allow their works to be translated. C. A strategy to preserve linguistic purity in translation. D. A method to simplify complex texts for broader audiences. Answer: A. The inherent impossibility of translating certain cultural nuances. 50. Literary periodization. Question 50. In the context of literary periodization, what characterizes the transition from Romanticism to Victorian literature in the 19th century? A. Emphasis on emotion and individualism to social realism and moral concerns. B. Shift from realism to surrealism. C. Dominance of pastoral themes over urban settings. D. Increased focus on classical forms and structures. Answer: A. Emphasis on emotion and individualism to social realism and moral concerns. Literary theory and identity. Question 51. In the realm of literary theory, how does postcolonial feminist criticism contribute to our understanding of identity and power dynamics? A. By advocating for the erasure of cultural differences. B. By focusing solely on the experiences of colonizers. C. By examining how gender intersects with colonial and postcolonial contexts. D. By dismissing the relevance of gender in postcolonial literature. Answer: C. By examining how gender intersects with colonial and postcolonial contexts. 52. Eco-criticism. Question 52. What does eco-criticism primarily explore in literature? A. The psychological motivations of characters. B. The representation of nature and the environment. C. The historical contexts of literary works. D. The linguistic features of ecological texts. Answer: B. The representation of nature and the environment. 53. Literary modernism. Question 53. How does literary modernism challenge traditional forms and conventions? A. By adhering strictly to established literary norms. B. By focusing on linear and straightforward narratives. C. By experimenting with new narrative techniques and forms. D. By rejecting individual subjectivity in favor of collective themes. Answer: C. By experimenting with new narrative techniques and forms. 54. Literary reception and influence. Question 54. How does the reception of a literary work impact its subsequent influence and interpretation? A. It has no effect on the work's interpretation. B. It shapes how the work is perceived and understood over time. C. It only matters during the author's lifetime. D. It diminishes the work's cultural significance. Answer: B. It shapes how the work is perceived and understood over time. 55. Globalization in literature. Question 55. How does literature respond to the challenges and opportunities presented by globalization, and provide an example that illustrates this response? A. By resisting any form of cultural exchange. B. By showcasing the isolation of cultures. C. By exploring the interconnectedness of diverse cultures, as seen in Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake. D. By promoting cultural homogeneity. Answer: C. By exploring the interconnectedness of diverse cultures, as seen in Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake. Comparative literature. Question 56. In the context of comparative literature, discuss the concept of minor literature. As proposed by Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari, how does it challenge traditional notions of literature and identity? Answer: Minor literature, according to Deleuze and Guattari, challenges traditional notions by focusing on marginalized and oppressed voices. It emphasizes the potential for resistance and the subversion of major language and literature. An example can be found in Franz Kafka's works, where the author's identity as a Czech Jew in a German-speaking society reflects elements of minor literature. 57. Translation studies. Question 57. Explore the challenges and advantages of translating poetry compared to prose. Provide examples from different languages to illustrate the complexities involved in translating poetic expression. Answer: Translating poetry presents challenges due to the need to preserve not only meaning but also rhythm, rhyme, and cultural nuances. For example, translating the Arabic poetry of Mahmoud Darwish into English involves capturing the emotional depth and linguistic richness, navigating the intricate balance between fidelity and creativity. 58. Comparative literature theory. Question 58. How does Edward Said's concept of Orientalism contribute to the understanding of the representation of the East in Western literature? Provide an example of a literary work that reflects Orientalist themes. Answer. Said's Orientalism critiques Western representations of the East as exotic and inferior. An example is Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, where the portrayal of India reflects Orientalist stereotypes, reinforcing colonial perspectives. 59. Literary translation challenges. Question 59. Discuss the challenges and ethical considerations in translating literature from indigenous languages. How can translators navigate cultural sensitivity while maintaining the integrity of the source text? Answer. Translating indigenous literature requires addressing issues of cultural appropriation and respecting the sacred nature of certain terms. For instance, in translating Native American texts, the challenge is to convey cultural nuances while avoiding misappropriation and maintaining the sacredness of certain terms. 60. Comparative literature and globalization. Question 60. Analyze how globalization impacts the dissemination of literary works across cultures. Provide examples of authors whose works have achieved global recognition and discuss the challenges they may face in maintaining cultural authenticity. Answer. Globalization facilitates the dissemination of literature, as seen in the international success of Haruki Murakami. However, challenges arise in preserving cultural authenticity, as translations may inadvertently dilute cultural nuances, requiring careful consideration by translators. Comparative literature. Question 61. What term is used to describe the practice of translating a work into several languages simultaneously and then translating those translations back into the original language to reveal linguistic and cultural differences? A. Cross-cultural translation. B. Polyglotism. C. Back translation. D. Multilingual adaptation. Answer. C. Back translation. 62. Translation studies. Question 62. According to Lawrence Venuti's theory of foreignization and domestication, which approach involves making the translated text conform to the target culture's norms and values? A. Foreignization. B. Domestication. C. Adaptation. D. Literal translation. Answer. B. Domestication. 63. Comparative literature theory. Question 63. Who coined the term cultural imperialism, and how does it relate to comparative literature? A. Edward Said. It refers to the dominance of certain cultures over others. B. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak. It signifies the impact of language on power relations. C. Antonio Gramsci. It involves the imposition of cultural values by ruling classes. D. Herbert Marcuse. It explores the commodification of culture. Answer. C. Antonio Gramsci. It involves the imposition of cultural values by ruling classes. 64. Literary translation challenges. Question 64. What term is used to describe the phenomenon where certain cultural and linguistic elements in a source text are intentionally left untranslated in the target text? A. Cultural adaptation. B. Foreignization. C. Transcreation. D. Untranslatability. Answer. D. Untranslatability. 65. Comparative literature and globalization. Question 65. In the context of globalization and literature, what does the term glocalization signify? A. The integration of global themes in local contexts. B. The rejection of global influences in favor of local traditions. C. The dominance of global literary trends over local narratives. D. The exclusive focus on literature from a specific region. Answer. A. The integration of global themes in local contexts. Comparative literature. Question 66. What term refers to a literary work that imitates the style or subject matter of another with deliberate exaggeration for comic effect or ridicule? A. Parody. B. Pastiche. C. Satire. D. Homage. Answer. A. Parody. 67. Translation studies. Question 67. According to the concept of cultural turn, in translation studies, what is the emphasis on when translating a text? A. Fidelity to the source text. B. Cultural nuances and context. C. Linguistic purity. D. Adaptation to target audience preferences. Answer. B. Cultural nuances and context. 68. Comparative literature theory. Question 68. In the field of comparative literature, what does the term transnational literature encompass? A. Literature that emphasizes nationalistic themes. B. Works that transcend national boundaries and explore global issues. C. Literature exclusively written in multiple languages. D. Literary works that promote cultural isolationism. Answer: B. Works that transcend national boundaries and explore global issues. 69. Literary translation challenges. Question 69. What is the term for a translation strategy where the translator modifies elements of the text to suit the cultural expectations of the target audience? A. Untranslatability. B. Domestication. C. Adaptation. D. Foreignization. Answer: B. Domestication. 70. Comparative literature and gender studies. Question 70. How does the concept of gynocriticism contribute to comparative literature, particularly in the analysis of female-authored texts? A. It focuses on the analysis of male-authored texts from a feminist perspective. B. It emphasizes the study of female characters in literature. C. It explores the unique literary contributions and experiences of women. D. It critiques the influence of gender on literary criticism. Answer: C. It explores the unique literary contributions and experiences of women. Comparative literature and cultural studies. Question 71. In the context of cultural studies, what does the term subaltern refer to, and how does it relate to comparative literature? A social group marginalized and oppressed by dominant power structures. It relates to examining literature from the perspective of marginalized voices. B. A literary genre originating in subaltern regions. It emphasizes regional literature over global perspectives. C. A specific style of literary criticism. It focuses on analyzing the linguistic aspects of texts. D. A movement advocating for cultural homogeneity. It rejects the study of diverse literary traditions. Answer: A social group marginalized and oppressed by dominant power structures. It relates to examining literature from the perspective of marginalized voices. 72. Translation studies. Question 72. According to the descriptive translation studies approach, what is the primary focus of translation analysis? A. Evaluating the literary merit of the source text. B. Describing and understanding the translation process and its outcomes. C. Emphasizing the translator's creativity over fidelity. D. Promoting foreignization in translation. Answer: B. Describing and understanding the translation process and its outcomes. 73. Comparative literature and reception studies. Question 73. How does reader response theory contribute to the field of comparative literature, especially in understanding the reception of texts across cultures? A. By focusing on the historical context of literary works. B. By examining the influence of authors' biographies on texts. C. By exploring how readers interpret and respond to literary texts. D. By promoting the study of specific genres. Answer: C. By exploring how readers interpret and respond to literary texts. 74. Literary modernism. Question 74. Which literary work is often considered a landmark in modernist literature, known for its fragmented narrative and stream of consciousness technique? A. Wuthering Heights, by Emily Bronte. B. Ulysses, by James Joyce. C. Pride and Prejudice, by Jane Austen. D. Crime and Punishment, by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Answer: B. Ulysses, by James Joyce. 75. Comparative literature and postcolonial theory. Question 75. What is the term for literature produced by authors from countries that were once colonies of European powers, and how does it challenge colonial narratives? A. Colonial literature. It reinforces colonial perspectives. B. Postcolonial literature. It challenges and redefines colonial narratives. C. Neo-colonial literature. It upholds colonial ideologies. D. Transnational literature. It ignores colonial legacies. Answer: B. Postcolonial literature. It challenges and redefines colonial narratives. 76. Ancient Greek literature. Question 76. Who is the author of the epic poem, the Iliad? A. Virgil. B. Homer. C. Sophocles. D. Aeschylus. Answer: B. Homer. 77. Ancient Roman literature. Question 77. Which Roman poet wrote the epic poem, the Aeneid? A. Ovid. B. Seneca. C. Horace. D. Virgil. Answer. D. Virgil. 78. Classical tragedy. Question 78. In Greek tragedy, what term is used for the protagonist's fatal flaw that leads to their downfall? A. Anagnorisis. B. Hubris. C. Catharsis. D. Peripeteia. Answer. B. Hubris. 79. Ancient Roman playwright. Question 79. Who is considered the greatest Roman playwright, known for works like Phaedra and Medea? A. Ovid. B. Terence. C. Seneca. D. Plautus. Answer. C. Seneca. 80. Classical epic poetry. Question 80. What is the central theme of The Odyssey by Homer? A. The Trojan War. B. The quest for the Golden Fleece. C. The journey of Odysseus to return home. D. The love affair of Dido and Aeneas. Answer. C. The journey of Odysseus to return home. Comparative literature. 1. Concepts. World literature. The study of literature from various cultures, recognizing the interconnectedness and shared human experiences transcending national boundaries. Intertextuality. The relationship between texts and how they influence or refer to each other, exploring connections and dialogues across different works. Estrangement. A concept introduced by Viktor Shklovsky, referring to making the familiar seem unfamiliar or strange to enhance the reader's perception. 2. Theories. Postcolonial theory examines the cultural, social, and political implications of colonialism and its aftermath on literature and societies. Feminist literary criticism analyzes how literature reflects and reinforces gender roles, and advocates for the exploration of women's experiences in literature. Reception theory focuses on how readers interpret and respond to literary works, considering the role of the audience in shaping the meaning of texts. 3. Texts. 100 Years of Solitude, by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a key text in magical realism. Exploring the history of the Bundia family in the fictional town of Macondo. In Search of Lost Time, by Marcel Proust, a monumental work that delves into memory, time, and human consciousness, often cited in discussions of modernist literature. Things Fall Apart, by Chinua Achebe, examines the impact of colonialism on African societies, challenging Western narratives about Africa. Translation studies. 1. Concepts. Equivalence. The notion that a translation should convey the same meaning, effect, and intent as the original text, while accounting for linguistic and cultural differences. Foreignization and domestication. Strategies introduced by Lawrence Venuti. Foreignization emphasizes fidelity to the source culture, while domestication adapts the text to the target culture. Untranslatability. The idea that certain linguistic or cultural elements may resist accurate translation into another language. 2. Theories. Scopus theory focuses on the purpose or function of a translation, emphasizing that the translation's goal should align with the intended function in the target culture. Descriptive translation studies. A theoretical approach that aims to objectively describe and analyze translation practices without prescribing norms. Polysystem theory examines the dynamics within a literary system and the relationships between different cultures and literatures. 3. Texts. The Odyssey, translated by Emily Wilson. Wilson's translation of Homer's epic is notable for its emphasis on clarity, contemporary language, and highlighting the agency of female characters. The Brothers Karamazov, translated by Constance Garnett. Garnett's translations of Russian literature, including Dostoevsky's work, played a significant role in introducing Russian literature to English-speaking audiences. 1001 Nights. Various translators, a collection of Middle Eastern folktales translated by various scholars, showcasing the challenges and diversity of translation in a multicultural context. Comparative literature. 1. Concepts. Question 1. What does the concept of intertextuality in comparative literature refer to? A. The study of texts from different cultures. B. The interconnectedness and references between texts. C. Making the familiar seem unfamiliar. D. The analysis of postcolonial narratives. Answer. B. The interconnectedness and references between texts. Question 2. In comparative literature, what does the term estrangement signify? A. The study of world literature. B. Making the familiar seem unfamiliar. C. The analysis of gender roles in literature. D. The exploration of magical realism. Answer. B. Making the familiar seem unfamiliar. 2. Theories. Question 3. Which theory explores the cultural, social, and political implications of colonialism in literature? A. Postcolonial theory. B. Feminist literary criticism. C. Reception theory. D. World literature theory. Answer. A. Postcolonial theory. Question 4. What is the primary focus of feminist literary criticism? A. The exploration of women's experiences in literature. B. The impact of colonialism on literature. C. How readers interpret literary works. D. The interconnectedness of world literature. Answer. A. The exploration of women's experiences in literature. 3. Texts. Question 5. Which text is a key example of magical realism in comparative literature? A. In Search of Lost Time, by Marcel Proust. B. Things Fall Apart, by Chinua Achebe. C. 100 Years of Solitude, by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. D. The Odyssey, by Homer. Answer. C. 100 Years of Solitude, by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Question 6. In discussions of modernist literature, which work is often cited for its exploration of memory and consciousness? A. 1001 Nights. B. In Search of Lost Time, by Marcel Proust. C. The Brothers Karamazov. D. The Iliad, by Homer. Answer. B. In Search of Lost Time, by Marcel Proust. Translation Studies. 1. Concepts. Question 7. What is the primary goal of the concept of equivalence in translation? A. Fidelity to the source culture. B. Conveying the same meaning, effect, and intent. C. Adapting the text to the target culture. D. Resisting accurate translation. Answer. B. Conveying the same meaning, effect, and intent. Question 8. Which translation strategy emphasizes making the translated text conform to the target culture's norms and values? A. Untranslatability. B. Foreignization. C. Adaptation. D. Domestication. Answer. D. Domestication. 2. Theories. Question 9. According to the Scopus theory, what should be the focus of a translation? A. Fidelity to the source text. B. Linguistic purity. C. The purpose or function in the target culture. D. Objective description of the translation process. Answer. C. The purpose or function in the target culture. Question 10. Which theory aims to objectively describe and analyze translation practices without prescribing norms? A. Scopus theory. B. Descriptive translation studies. C. Polysystem theory. D. Foreignization theory. Answer. B. Descriptive translation studies. 3. Texts. Question 11. Who translated The Odyssey into English with an emphasis on clarity, contemporary language, and highlighting the agency of female characters? A. Constance Garnett. B. Emily Wilson. C. Lawrence Venuti. D. Victor Sklavsky. Answer. B. Emily Wilson. Question 12. Which translator played a significant role in introducing Russian literature, including Dostoevsky's works, to English-speaking audiences? A. Constance Garnett. B. Emily Wilson. C. Lawrence Venuti. D. Victor Sklavsky. Answer. A. Constance Garnett. Comparative Literature. 1. Concepts. Question 13. What term is used to describe the practice of translating a work into several languages simultaneously and then translating those translations back into the original language to reveal linguistic and cultural differences? A. Cross-cultural translation. B. Polyglottism. C. Back translation. D. Multilingual adaptation. Answer. C. Back translation. Question 14. In comparative literature, what does the term minor literature by Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari signify? A. Literature that emphasizes major cultural themes. B. Works from marginalized and oppressed voices challenging traditional norms. C. Literary works in minor languages with limited readership. D. A movement against literary globalization. Answer. B. Works from marginalized and oppressed voices challenging traditional norms. 2. Theories. Question 15. According to Edward Said's concept of Orientalism, what does it critique in the representation of the East in Western literature? A. The emphasis on cultural diversity. B. The rejection of Western literary forms. C. The dominance of certain cultural stereotypes and biases. D. The celebration of hybridity. Answer. C. The dominance of certain cultural stereotypes and biases. Question 16. What does the term gynocriticism focus on in comparative literature? A. Analysis of male-authored texts from a feminist perspective. B. The exploration of unique literary contributions and experiences of women. C. Studying gender-neutral themes in literature. D. Promoting gender homogeneity in literary analysis. Answer. B. The exploration of unique literary contributions and experiences of women. 3. Texts. Question 17. In the context of cultural studies, which text can be examined for representations of subaltern voices and experiences? A. The Iliad, by Homer. B. The Jungle Book, by Rudyard Kipling. C. 100 Years of Solitude, by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. D. Things Fall Apart, by Chinua Achebe. Answer. D. Things Fall Apart, by Chinua Achebe. Question 18. How does Franz Kafka's works, such as The Metamorphosis, exemplify the concept of minor literature? A. By emphasizing major cultural themes. B. By adhering to traditional literary norms. C. By focusing on marginalized and oppressed voices. D. By celebrating linguistic purity. Answer. C. By focusing on marginalized and oppressed voices. Translation studies. 1. Concepts. Question 19. What term is used to describe the phenomenon where certain cultural and linguistic elements in a source text are intentionally left untranslated in the target text? A. Cultural adaptation. B. Foreignization. C. Transcreation. D. Untranslatability. Answer. D. Untranslatability. Question 20. In translation, what does the term scopos refer to? A. The source language of the text. B. The target language of the translation. C. The purpose or function of the translation. D. The linguistic features of the original text. Answer. C. The purpose or function of the translation. 2. Theories. Question 21. Which translation theory emphasizes the importance of maintaining linguistic and cultural differences in the translation process? A. Domestication theory. B. Foreignization theory. C. Adaptation theory. D. Equivalence theory. Answer. B. Foreignization theory. Question 22. What does the concept of descriptive translation studies primarily aim to achieve? A. Prescribing norms for translation. B. Evaluating the literary merit of translations. C. Objectively describing and analyzing translation practices. D. Promoting linguistic purity in translation. Answer. C. Objectively describing and analyzing translation practices. 3. Texts. Question 23. In translation, what is an example of a text that requires careful consideration of cultural sensitivity while maintaining the integrity of the source text? A. The Iliad, by Homer. B. 1001 Nights. C. The Brothers Karamazov, by Fyodor Dostoevsky. D. Native American Folktales. Answer. D. Native American Folktales. Question 24. Who translated The Odyssey, with a focus on highlighting the agency of female characters? A. Lawrence Venuti. B. Constance Garnett. C. Emily Wilson. D. Victor Sklavsky. Answer. C. Emily Wilson. Comparative literature. 1. Concepts. Question 25. What does the term heteroglossia, as introduced by Mikhail Bakhtin, signify in the context of comparative literature? A. The study of linguistic purity in literary works. B. A focus on monolingual literary traditions. C. The presence of multiple voices or discourses within a single text. D. The rejection of intertextuality in literature. Answer. C. The presence of multiple voices or discourses within a single text. Question 26. In the context of comparative literature, what is meant by the term cultural syncretism? A. The deliberate separation of cultures in literary works. B. The blending and merging of different cultural elements in literature. C. The dominance of one culture over others in literary analysis. D. The rejection of cross-cultural influences in literary studies. Answer. B. The blending and merging of different cultural elements in literature. 2. Theories. Question 27. How does the concept of transculturality contribute to comparative literature, and who is associated with its development? A. It emphasizes the importance of transcending national boundaries, associated with Wolfgang Welsch. B. It advocates for cultural isolationism, associated with Edward Said. C. It promotes linguistic homogeneity, associated with Roland Barthes. D. It focuses on the dominance of major literary traditions, associated with Northrop Frye. Answer. A. It emphasizes the importance of transcending national boundaries, associated with Wolfgang Welsch. Question 28. According to Julia Kristova's concept of intertextuality, what is the role of the genetext? A. The specific textual references within a literary work. B. The overall structure and organization of the text. C. The genetic or historical dimension of a text, including its cultural and social context. D. The interplay of different languages within a single text. Answer. C. The genetic or historical dimension of a text, including its cultural and social context. 3. Texts. Question 29. How does Italo Calvino's Invisible Cities exemplify the concept of ergodic literature? A. It presents a linear and straightforward narrative structure. B. Readers actively participate in the creation of the narrative, exploring multiple paths and interpretations. C. It adheres strictly to the conventions of realism. D. The text resists any form of intertextuality. Answer. B. Readers actively participate in the creation of the narrative, exploring multiple paths and interpretations. Question 30. In Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, how does the use of magical realism contribute to the exploration of postcolonial themes? A. By emphasizing strict realism to convey historical events. B. By downplaying the impact of colonialism on cultural identities. C. By blending fantastical elements with historical and political realities. D. By rejecting the use of cultural syncretism in storytelling. Answer. C. By blending fantastical elements with historical and political realities. Translation Studies. 1. Concepts. Question 31. In translation, what does the term fidelity paradox refer to? A. The balance between maintaining fidelity to the source text and adapting to the target culture. B. The rejection of fidelity in favor of linguistic purity. C. The intentional distortion of the source text for artistic purposes. D. The refusal of certain texts to be translated due to cultural sensitivity. Answer. A. The balance between maintaining fidelity to the source text and adapting to the target culture. Question 32. How does the concept of cultural turn in translation studies influence the translation process? A. It emphasizes linguistic purity over cultural nuances. B. It prioritizes the source culture at the expense of the target culture. C. It highlights the importance of considering cultural elements in translation. D. It advocates for a rejection of cultural influences in translation. Answer. C. Highlights the importance of considering cultural elements in translation. 2. Theories. Question 33. According to André Lefebvre's rewriting theory, what role does rewriting play in the translation process? A. Maintaining strict fidelity to the source text. B. Adapting the text to conform to the target culture's norms. C. Allowing translators to assert power and reshape the narrative. D. Rejecting any form of adaptation or rewriting. Answer. C. Allowing translators to assert power and reshape the narrative. Question 34. How does the Scopos theory influence translation practice? A. It prioritizes fidelity to the source text without considering the target audience. B. It emphasizes the purpose or function of the translation in the target culture. C. It advocates texts. Question 35. In the translation of classical texts, such as Homer's Iliad, how might a translator navigate the challenge of maintaining both linguistic fidelity and cultural relevance? A. By prioritizing linguistic fidelity over cultural nuances. B. By adapting the text extensively to suit modern cultural norms. C. By providing extensive footnotes to explain cultural references. D. By applying foreignization strategies to preserve the cultural essence. Answer. D. By applying foreignization strategies to preserve the cultural essence. Question 36. In the translation of a poem rich in cultural references and wordplay, which translation strategy is more likely to be employed? A. Domestication, to ensure clarity and accessibility. B. Untranslatability, to preserve the original cultural nuances. C. Fidelity, to maintain linguistic purity. D. Adaptation, to cater to the tastes of the target audience. Answer. B. Untranslatability, to preserve the original cultural nuances. Additional challenge. Question 37. How does the concept of translation loss manifest in the translation process, and what strategies can a translator employ to address it? A. Translation loss refers to the inevitable loss of cultural nuances. A translator can mitigate it through cultural adaptation. B. Translation loss is a myth. No meaningful loss occurs in translation. C. Translation loss pertains only to linguistic differences. A translator can compensate by prioritizing linguistic accuracy. D. Translation loss is limited to poetry. A translator can overcome it through rhyming and meter. Answer. A. Translation loss refers to the inevitable loss of cultural nuances. A translator can mitigate it through cultural adaptation.